la famille.
Hi there. So I'm Adrien Falcon. I'm the general manager for France for Deliveroo, which actually means that I created the sub here in France. I launched it and I run it with my team. So a lot of people knows Deliveroo, right? Can you just hand up? All right. Okay. So great. So Deliveroo, just in a nutshell, we select the best local restaurants and we deliver your favorite meal at home or at your office in less than 30 minutes. That's what we do. And so today, I've been invited to talk about the team and the experience that we have here in France and how we scale the business and how we scale the team. So there are a lot of questions that I've been asked to answer. Let me share that with you. So the first one is how to build a badass team, how to preserve a startup spirit while scaling, how important is the corporate culture and the corporate values, how do you recruit, how are you going to drive the team over time, blah, 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 blah. It's a lot of questions. Okay. Let me give you a little bit of background before answering that, because if I'm inviting here, the first question I want to answer is why I will be a good person to answer those questions. And the reason why is because we've been scaling extremely fast all over the world and all over France as well during the last year. So Deliveroo, in a nutshell, globally speaking, has been launched 3 years ago by a guy called Will Shu, one restaurant in one area in London. So it was only 3 years ago. And now Deliveroo is in around 100 cities all around the world, in 30 different countries, Europe, APAC. We are working with over 10,000 restaurants all over the world. And we are working with also over 10,000 cyclists and scooters to deliver the meal. To do that, we've been raising $200 million over the last year. And obviously that puts a lot of things in terms of in question in terms of team. If we look at, and that's what I know the best, what we've done here in France. So the business like 18 months ago didn't exist in Paris and in France. Okay, the first delivery that we did was in April 2015. So it was about a year ago. In 1 year, what we've done here is that we've been from one restaurant to 1,500 restaurants. From one city, one area in Paris, to over 40 cities in France, including major ones like Toulouse, Nice, Bordeaux, Lille, Lyon. We're launching Marseille today. So it's been pretty fast, pretty intense. We've been growing at 15% per week, okay? And we just celebrated our million order a month ago, in a year. So obviously, to do that, you need to have a badass team. Otherwise, you go nowhere. And my badass team here in France came from one employee to 100, over 100. We are actually 130 now in France. So it's been quite a challenge. And what I'd like to share with you is, and honestly, just one thing, is you don't do anything like that, and you don't scale a business if you don't have the right team and the right talents. So now the question is, to come back to the initial question, is how you build that badass team. I'm going to share 5 tips with you. And honestly, it's very empirical. It's based on my own experience, what I've been living with the team here for a year. So I hope it's going to be insightful. But there is no magical stuff behind that. So the first thing where we're going to dig in a little bit in the details is that to build a badass team from day one, you need talents. But talents doesn't mean the same thing depending on the scale and of the stage where you are at the company. So when you launch a business like that, the talent is not the same as the one you're going to look for once the business has scale. What I'm looking for, and I'll dig in the details, from day one, what I looked for was what I call Swift Knife Army people. Okay, I'm not looking for people who had a outstanding educational background, for instance, but people who were extremely polyvalent. And I'll go in the details. And then, obviously, now that we've came to quite a big size, we're looking for people who are super experts. So, hire the right talents. Once you have the right talents, you need to align the team. And aligning the team, it's aligning by the value. The management that we are here at Deliveroo, and before anything else related to performance, everything is related to the values and to the people. Okay? So I'll share what type of values we've been put in place in Paris, in France, and how we actually leverage that, leading by the example and also trying to walk the talk on a weekly basis. You've got the right talent, you align the right talent, and then the key question is to make sure that they are empowered. You need to take the risk to delegate. You need to take the risk to fail, because otherwise you go nowhere. So what we are doing here, what I'm doing with the team, and it's honestly, I'm sure it's part of the success that we've been through, it's loving the risk of putting people in a position where they are very autonomous, wherever the seniority. They need to fail, they need to learn, we need to delegate. So you hire the right team, you align the talents, you empower them, and then you monitor the performance. It's a business. So obviously, we are looking at some KPIs, and the question is how we do look at those KPIs. We are doing that on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, but with no pressure, with a collective and a common ambition that is buy-in by all the people, and they know why. So I'll share that as well with you. And one thing that Elizabeth said before, it's also we reward. It's super important to have some recognition. Above the reward, that is, through nice words or stuff like that, we also reward financially. So I'll go through that. And the last tip I'm going to share with you is all of those are extremely important, obviously. But scaling a team from 1 to 100 in such a short period of time requires to find a way to build souvenir all together. Otherwise, you go nowhere. You have a bunch of people who are in a team but not part of the team. So a key point that we've been going through and building all together with the team here is to find ways to build souvenir all together on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. I'll share that with you. Okay, so basically this is the framework I'm going to share with you, and now I'm going to go through all of them in the details, and I let you ask me questions if you have anyone. So hiring talent. So this is what you look for at the very first stage. Okay, you don't care about people who have an impressive background, who have done 10 years of whatever. This is not what we are looking for. We are looking for people who are polyvalent, people who are self-driven, people who are very strong communicator, and people who I could felt that they will be in a position where they could evolve with the company wherever we go, at whatever the pace it is. Okay? So, to give you one significant example. So we are working with restaurants, okay? Part of our job is to meet the restaurants and to sign up some restaurants, some partnership with those guys. And the most obvious way to think about it would have been to say, okay, this is a sales job, so I need to find a salesperson. I need to find someone who has worked with the restaurants before. It's super important. Otherwise, this guy is not going to be able to do a proper job, and I need him to do a proper job. All right, fine. But actually, this is not the first people that we hired. The two first people that we hired had no sales experience, ever. They were 25-year-old. One was working in a bar, okay, and was hesitating in between doing Deliveroo something with us or working for the Financial Times as a journalist. Okay, all right. The other one was a community manager. But both of them had a similar skill that I was looking for. They were highly motivated. They were super good communicator. They were self-driven. So I could feel they will be polyvalent, and they will be in a position where they could move from one position, a sales position, to another one very quickly. Because 3 months at the time where we are speaking, and 3 months, 6 months for us, it's the mid and the long term. So you need to find people who are able to evolve with the company. Okay? So this is the first tip that I'm sharing with you. At the very early stage of your company, hire polyvalent people, Swift knife army people. Then obviously, the more you scale, the more you need people who are experienced, and then you look for experts. This is the way we've been looking at things, okay? First thing, so you are your talent. Now, you need to align the team. Okay, this is maybe the most important slide for me. And the team that is working with me know that because I'm keeping on repeating that almost every week, honestly. Why is it important? Deliveroo in France, it's the sub of a startup that has been created in the UK, where the co-founder is basically living and working in the UK. A startup is obviously inspired a lot, and our leader is extremely inspiring, is obviously inspired by the day-to-day contact with the leader. So creating a sub where you need to create the same culture from scratch in another country with people who've never worked together before, it requires something else, okay? And the thing that it requires is aligning the people through values. Those are not corporate values because we haven't really defined it yet at Deliveroo, globally speaking. But there are the values for the team in France so far, okay? And for a lot of people in Europe as well. Those values, they're pretty simple. It doesn't mean that they are the right values. I'm just sharing the fact that it's important to set up some values and to share that and align the people with those values. So what I'm asking the team is pretty basic. Is guys, be experts of the field that you're managing. It doesn't mean that I'm looking for experts. It means that I'm asking the people to become experts of their domain. And once they've got their expertise, to work on this expertise on an ongoing basis. Again, every month, every 3 months, the company is changing completely. So you need people who are able to scale with the company to go over the ceiling glass, okay? So be expert of your thing. It's going to be important because once you need to empower them and you want them to be autonomous, they need to be experts. So be expert of the thing that you're managing and know what you're talking about. Second thing, you need to be focused, okay? We're in a startup. Everything goes extremely fast. So every day we've got mail, Slack, phone calls, interaction. So it's extremely easy to get defocused from anything, okay? And to lose the priorities. So one of our values here with the team is to try to keep the focus on a daily basis. So we prioritize the things, we work on a Pareto mode where we try to focus on the 20% of the things that will bring the 80% of the value, okay? It's very difficult to manage, and this is where you need to repeat the value on a constant basis. The more you repeat that, the more your manager and the more even your most junior resources integrate it and then leverage it. Be expert, be focused on what you do. You don't have that, this is a must-have because it's very difficult to work with people in a very challenging environment as we are because it's going extremely fast. You don't scale a business if you don't have a team who's able to do that. At least for us, this is what we've been through. Then there are 2 other interpersonal skills that are super important. The first one is sincerity or transparency, if you want. So We are in startup. The average age of the company is less than 30 years old. We're in a mode where, and I'm pushing that every day and trying to lead by the example, where I want to have a flat management. I want people to be extremely comfortable in the way they work with the others because they know they can say what they have to say, and it's not a personal question, it's a question of team spirit and working together. So when I say we're transparent, we're saying and we're celebrating the good thing, the success. And we are also saying very easily the issues, which creates something that is extremely important once you have a team of 100 people, is that everybody knows that he can share the issue he has. I do prefer to have someone who tell me that he really fucked up, and we know what is the issue, and we try to fix it together, all together, rather than someone who fears to share that and hide the things. So for us, and it's something that I'm working with the team here on a daily basis, is transparency. Okay, tell me what happened. It's not a problem. It's not an issue to have an issue. The issue will be not to know that. So there is an issue, fine, let's fix that together. And this is the way, the value has been so much integrated today that everybody is living with that, and it helps a lot. And that helps to go super fast. Expertise, focus, sincerity, humility. Okay, humility for a lot of people, it's a question of being able of listening to the others and taking a step back on what they experience, and this is humility. Humility for me, it's also the fact that I want people to know humility, it's a question of knowing oneself and knowing how to have some conviction. So I want people to come and have some conviction, being in a position where they can listen to the others, but still, push for their ideas, voice themselves. And it's super important to have that because this is where we co-build something all together. Humility, we need that because, every day I'm like, wow, what have been done? So far it's amazing, blah blah blah. Okay, but the path that we're targeting is very, very long. We have huge ambition because we love what we do, and it's not because we're at a certain point of development that it means anything, actually. It gives some very good clues that we're going in the right way, but all the team is very aware that we are not exactly where we would like to be. It's a question of service excellence. So everybody within the team is, working on this humility as well. Okay. So this is what we have put in place all together. We're keeping on repeating that, and I'm trying to lead by the example. So it's not, words are fine. The key question is how you walk the talk. You walk the talk because you inspire the others, because basically you live those values. And you also walk the talk because, and it's important, it's part of the culture, it's part of a company, it's part of the startup culture. If someone do not match those values, is not able to fit with the values, then there is no reason to continue working all together. And so usually the people do not stay, because you can't afford that. It's part of a startup development as well to be in a position to have the courage to sometimes stop a relationship with someone. So far, so good, and this was maybe the most complex things that we have to put together. Those values are lived on a daily basis, and I'm very proud of that. So, you hire talent, you align the team. Then, so you've got a bunch of people who are happy and ready to work very well. So make them work. And the only way to make them work and to make them work properly is to empower them. It's super difficult, especially when you start a business, not to, let's say, micromanage. You don't want to fail, so you're looking at everything, but this is the wrong thing. This is a wrong thing because you're slowing down everything if you do that. So the key thing is to empower the people and to delegate it. To take the risk and to love taking the risk, delegating to the people, even if they're super junior. It's not a problem, because by failing, even if they fail, this is where they're going to learn faster, and this is also where you're going to learn fast with them, okay? Faster with them. So empowering the people, I'm not going to share the details about the tools that we are using to empower our guys. I'm just going to share a framework, a way that I'm trying to work with the guys there. Empowering the team means having the buying of the people once you ask them to do something. So the first thing, and it's a very famous framework. Honestly, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just using it, and it works pretty well. So before saying to someone, do that, this is your task, the key thing is making sure you understand why he's doing that. So the why is the first thing that you need to work on, because this is where you get the buy-in. Okay, why I'm going to do that? Okay, now I understand. Now I know why I'm going to do that, how I'm going to do it. So you kind of spend a little bit of time helping them to find a way to do things. And then the what, the task in itself, you don't even need to enter the details. So for me, this is a framework to empower the people. The key message here is you need to empower the people, even if it's a small company, even if there is a lot of things that could be a risk. You don't do that, you can scale the team. One last thing. Two last things. You hire the people, you align them, you empower them. Then you need to monitor the performance. It's a business. So obviously, the reason why we've been growing so fast, there are many reasons, but one of the reasons is also because we are very data-oriented. We are looking at the performance. And startup in growth, it's traction. So we are looking on a weekly basis and very deeply, very precisely on certain KPIs. The key thing here versus the culture that we have and the people that we are working with is everybody in the company, wherever the level, wherever the seniority, juniority, wherever the type of work, office management, business developer, operation, logistics, blah, 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 all those guys have KPI. Team KPIs and individual KPIs. And this is where, because the people know what they have to do, this is where they can perform. This is because they're autonomous. They know what they have to do. You just need to help them to drive the performance, and you need to help them to find a way to fix issues if they encounter any issues. One more point on that. Once you have define the KPIs and align all those guys on their KPIs, it's super important to reward. There are some companies setting some KPIs but not rewarding the success and the individual success. We do. There is not a single person in the team, whatever the level, whatever the business unit, that is not incentivized and that doesn't have a base salary but also a bonus related to the KPI. Okay? Because it's important that the success is also shared, even from a financial point of view. It comes a little bit back to the point that Elizabeth was making. So you monitor the performance. Okay, we've been hiring talent, aligning the talents, empowering them. We now monitor the performance. And the very last thing is also maybe one of the most important ones. So you build souvenir. How can you work with a team of people, 100 guys, 130 guys, that didn't know each other a year ago? How you build a culture? What you do to make sure that there is a cohesion, to make sure that people are happy to work together, that people know each other even if they only met once. How you do that? So you do that by building souvenir. You do that by celebrating on a regular basis the success. You do that on celebrating and sharing the failures as well. I'm gonna give you a few, and obviously have fun and party. So I'm gonna share you a few things that we do. Just a few examples. So one thing we just put in place is a kind of Vie ma vie, so live my life. Every new joiners is actually doing something that is not related to what he has to do. So let me clarify that. Let's say I'm going to be a business developer. I'm going to work with the restaurants. My job is to sign up the restaurants. However, once I'm going to join Deliveroo, I'm going to go with the operational team. I'm going to take a bike, and I'm going to do myself a delivery, because the guy is going to understand what the other part of the team is doing. And it's super important. Another example that we could share is, let's say I'm a marketing person. Okay, so I'm here to do marketing. But what I'm going to do once I join Deliveroo, I'm also going to do what we call a customer service shift. So he's going to spend sometimes with the customer service, taking some calls and understand what's happening behind the line with the customers. So this is something that we do. What we do as well is every Friday, we do a Friday lunch. It's part of one of the great advantage that we have. We eat a lot at Deliveroo, actually. And so every Friday, we have a Friday lunch with all the team. So what it means is that we order some meals, and we share a big meal with all the team all together. We have some music, cool stuff. Some guys are playing baby foot. Okay, but it's super important because it helps to build something together. It builds souvenir. Another thing is, we contribute to a few things. So we are trying to implement some perks. So we eat a lot, and so we are letting the people go to the gym as well. So we contribute for everyone within the company to go to the gym, to have a contribution to a sports club, and they choose whatever they want, but it's super flexible. So that's things. We do team meetups, sharing and making sure that someone that is super junior at the marketing is going to share his own experience with other people that are super senior in Lyon, for instance, because this is where you create this cohesion. So people share their experience, whoever they are, whatever they do. Every Thursday, we have a drink. It doesn't mean that everyone's coming. It means that everyone knows that there is a drink. So sometimes you end up with a few guys, like 2, 3. All right, it's fine. Sometimes you end up with 15 savages, super happy to have a drink all together. And that type of things change something. It creates a rhythm. So every week people know that even if they don't meet together during the week, at least they're gonna have a moment all together where they can share, something else than talking about work, for instance. Fail champagne. Okay, so that one, it's a funny story that just happened 2 days ago on Monday. So last week we really fucked up on something, and one of the team really fucked up. I was super angry. Honestly, sometimes I'm super angry, and I was super angry. What could have done? The obvious reaction would have been me entering the room at the kickoff meeting on Monday and saying, guys, what the fuck? And what did you do? Do you realize what happened? Okay, but honestly, I didn't really have to do that, because now I know that all my team is aligned with everything that we've said. So they know the values, they know the performance, they're empowered, they know that they're accountable for what they do. So what I did actually, and I think the team really thought that I became mad, but I say, okay, we're gonna celebrate that. So it was Monday, 10 a.m. I took a bottle of champagne and we opened it and we just drank all together, celebrating the failure. What we celebrate there was, okay, at least we're gonna learn something from that, and we celebrate that because it's never gonna happen again, or at least not that way. Okay. One very last thing that is, I think, super powerful, and very interesting to me, even if it's anecdotal. Will, which is our founder, is American. Okay, he's living in the UK. He has founded the company in the UK, but he's got this culture where a lot of people actually call themselves with nicknames. Okay, so William Shu, it's not William Shu, it's Will for everyone. I'm not Adrien Falcon for the team, and neither for a lot of people. I'm Adri. Everybody calls me Adri. It goes to a point where even my email address is adri@Deliveroo. It's not Adrien Falcon, it's not Adrien. And what it creates, because, well, my family calls me Adri, honestly. So for me, it's very different to have my team, the people I'm working with every day, and we work a lot all together, to call me by my nickname, because it's part of the family as well. And it's very natural. So all the team, once they have one, usually have a nickname. It's not Camille, it's Cam. It's not Nicolas, it's Nico. And it's super important for us to build that. It's not done on purpose. It's just something that we inherited, and that I think that is quite powerful, actually. So it's part of our culture. This is what I wanted to share with you. And that's it. Thanks.
Que la famille.